The sun sank beneath the Lagos skyline, painting the horizon in hues of gold and crimson. In our small apartment, Folu stared at the mirror. Her face, once radiant with youthful dreams, now bore the weight of years of disappointment, societal pressure, and silent battles. She ran her fingers over her bare left hand, where an engagement ring had once rested, then over her swollen lip, another reminder of David's rage. Her reflection wasn't hers anymore. It belonged to a woman she no longer recognized. This was not the life she had dreamed of. This wasn't the love she had waited for. Folu grew up believing in fairy tale. As the youngest in a family of five, she had often daydreamed about a Prince Charming, a man who would sweep her off her feet, shower her with love, and build a happy home with her. She imagined herself wearing the perfect wedding dress, surrounded by friends and family as she danced into the arms of the man of her dream. But reality really mirrors fantasy. At 38, the weight of societal expectation bore down on her like an avalanche. Her parents, well meaning but desperate, had long since begun to prod her about marriage. Each family gathering turned into an uncomfortable interrogation. Fulu, when are you bringing Ima home? Don't you want children? Time is not on your side. These remarks stung more with every passing year, and their disapproval grew sharper each time she turned down another suitor. Her sisters, both married with children, would smile sympathetically but say little. In her parents' eyes, they were the success stories, while Folu was the cautionary tale. She wanted to wait for love, for someone who stirred her soul, but that decision was like a luxury she could no longer afford. Then came David. David was everything her parents wanted for her. He was 42, stable, professional, and had a calm, almost magnetic presence. His charm wasn't overt but subtle, a gentle demeanor, and kind eyes that promised safety. Her parents were ecstatic when she introduced him. Her mother, especially, couldn't hide her excitement. This is it, Folu, she whispered. You found your husband. But Folu wasn't sure. David was a good man, but her heart didn't leap when she thought of him. It didn't make her laugh uncontrollably or leave her breathless with excitement. Still, she saw no reason to say no. Time was slipping away, and love, the kind she had dreamt of, felt more like a fleeting fantasy than a realistic goal. When David proposed after 6 months of dating, she hesitated but eventually said yes. Her parents' joy overshadowed her doubt. It was time, they said. It was a turn to build a home, to have children. Love will grow, her mother assured her. You just need to give it time. The wedding was whirlwind. Folu tried to immerse herself in the excitement, but ignoring emptiness lingered beneath a carefully curated smile. She told herself she was overthinking it. The nerves were natural. After all, this was what she wanted, wasn't it? Just a week before the wedding, Folu discovered she was pregnant. Her parents celebrated the news as though it were divine confirmation that everything was falling into place. For Folu, however, the news came with a mix of relief and fear. Maybe this child would bring her closer to David. Maybe it would bridge the gap she couldn't ignore. But life had other plans. The morning after their wedding, Folu woke up to sharp, serene pain in her abdomen. Blood stained the pristine sheets beneath her, and panic surged through her. The pregnancy was gone. The miscarriage devastated her. The loss of the child felt like the loss of hope, a cruel confirmation that the dream she had forced herself to accept was crumbling before it even began. David was visibly shaken, but quickly retreated into himself. His quiet sorrow soon turned into anger, and his anger found a target: Folu. David's transformation was slow but unmistakable. At first, he became distant. He spent hours in silence, nursing his grief. But soon, his grief turned to bitterness, and bitterness turned to rage. One evening, after a minor disagreement about dinner, he slapped her. The first slap left her stunned. He apologized immediately, tears streaming down his face as he begged for forgiveness. "I am sorry, Folu," he said. "I didn't mean it. I am just, I am hurting." She forgave him, convincing himself it was a one-time incident, an expression of pain rather than intent. But it wasn't. The abuse escalated. Slaps turned into shoves turned into punches, and the emotional abuse was just as cutting. David belittled her at every turn, blaming her for the miscarriage, for his unhappiness, for everything that went wrong in their lives. He accused her of not trying hard enough, of not being a good wife. Each insult and blow chipped away at her spirit. Folu, too ashamed to tell anyone, suffered in silence. She feared judgment from her family, who had always held marriage as the pinnacle of a woman's success. She feared the whispers of neighbors, the pitying glances of friends, but more than anything, she feared being alone. Months passed, and the violence became routine. Folu stopped crying. She stopped pleading. She existed in a state of numbness, a ghost of the vibrant woman she once was. Their intimacy faded into nothingness. David no longer touched her, no longer looked at her, even a semblance of affection. They became strangers living under the same roof. The love she had hoped would grow had withered into ashes, leaving behind only resentment and despise. At this point, you must be wondering why Folu still in the marriage. Maybe things will get better. Maybe David will change for good. Well, keep listening to this story. But before I continue, this is a plea to you, my wonderful viewers who haven't subscribed to my channel, to please subscribe and be part of my growth. Biko Ejo, click on the subscribe button, please. And if you are a returning subscriber, yay! Welcome back. I am so happy to have you here. Thanks. Now, let's go back to the story. One night, after an especially brutal beating, Folu lay on the cold bathroom floor, staring at the ceiling. Her body ached, but her soul hurt more. She thought about the girl she used to be, the girl who dreamed of fairy tales. That girl would never have imagined this life. Something shifted within her. She realized she had two choices: stay and let the mystery consume her, or leave and fight for herself. The next morning, Folu packed a small bag. She left her wedding ring on the bedside table, a silent goodbye to the man who had promised to love her but only brought her pain. She didn't know where she was going or how she would survive, but she knew she couldn't stay. As she walked out of the apartment into the bustling street of Lagos, she felt a strange sense of relief. The fear, though still present, was overshadowed by the faintest glimmer of hope. Folu's journey to healing was long and arduous. She faced judgment and isolation, but she also found strength she didn't know she had. She joined a support group for survivors of domestic violence, where she shared her story and helped other women find the courage to leave abusive relationships. Years later, Folu stood before a room full of women, her voice steady and strong. Love is not meant to hurt, she said. You are worth more than your pain. You deserve joy, respect, and freedom. As the room erupted into applause, Folu smiled. Her fairy tale had not come true, but she had written a new story, one of resilience, courage, and hope. Thank you for watching today's episode. If you enjoyed this tale and want to hear more, don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell so you never miss an episode. Let's keep the spirit of storytelling alive together. Until next time, keep the stories close to your heart.